I tend not to be like, hey, how many calls did you make? How many emails did you send? It's more about output than what the input was. But if you see people aren't having output and you're having weekly calls or daily stand-ups, you ask like, why isn't this output happening? What's going on? Like, what are you seeing? And if it's, the market's changing or people are on vacation, okay. But if you see it consistently from the same person, then it's, time to change objectives.
Do you believe that remote team then is as productive as it were? And I know it's a completely hypothetical question because you've got different people all over the world. But I mean, if you could have the team you've got now, or you picked a destination somewhere and built an office-based team, do you believe that you've got a more productive, more diverse setup from the remote working?
So for me, remote work, I'm not a remote work maximalist. Like, you're not going to get from me like the remote work is the only future and everything else is BS. I think that if you want to build a remote company, you have to do it consciously to say, hey, we need to hire people that are used to working remote, that feel a lot of ownership in the work that they do. Like, for me, the only people that work for a remote team are like high agency. You don't need to micromanage them. You don't need to be on top of them. They are in it because they want sort of their own personal values of, I want to be with my family. I want to have free time. I want to live where I want to live.
But how do you find and suss out those people? Because I mean, I guess there's the people who want to be with the family, who are gonna work like dogs for the 8 or 9 or 10 hours a day that they're working, but they genuinely want to be with the family. And then there's the people who say they want to be with the family because really they want to. They know that in today's climate they can demand to work from home, and employers don't have much choice other than to say yes. And then they sit at home in the pajamas watching YouTube all day.
Yeah, it's
how do you distinguish?
It's very hard. I don't, like I said, I only work, we only work with people that we see output from. I mean, we put people on pretty strict like probation when they come on, that we want to see, performance. We want to see that, people are checking in daily. We do daily, like most of our teams do daily stand-ups where they get together in the morning, talk about, issues, what they worked on, what they're going to work on, what issues they might have that other team members do. So, I mean, like sales and marketing does that. Our product team does it. Our QA team does it. Everyone does get together pretty much daily, and we try and do interdisciplinary, maybe like our delivery team and our product team get together at least like Tuesdays and Thursdays, for example, to discuss things. And then we do maybe a weekly all hands meeting. So we do try to keep communication open and make it so people are talking. We use Slack a lot. So you'll see, people are more active and people are less active. I mean, our developers obviously are not as active, but developers are very easy in the sense that you put tasks up on Jira, they grab the tasks, they work on them. Our CTO kind of knows like what's everyone's bandwidth. He sees, when people are sort of slacking off or falling behind, and kind of say to them like, hey, this week, what happened? Like, why, you took this many tasks, this task could have been done a lot faster. So you can track that. Obviously sales and marketing as well. I mean, I tend not to be like, hey, how many calls did you make? How many emails did you send? It's more about output than, what the input was. But if you see people aren't having output and you're having weekly calls or daily stand-ups, you ask like, why isn't this output happening? What's going on? Like, what are you seeing? And if it's, the market's changing or people are on vacation, okay. But if you see it consistently from the same person, then it's, time to change objectives. I think one of the key things too is just making objectives very clear and making them very visible. So like we have them on Jira or in Asana, where people see like every week, what are my objectives? Like, how many leads do I need to generate every week? How many tickets do I need to take? How many hours do I need to work on this? And it's not easy, but like I said, it's really a cultural thing of like who the people are. Like, I don't think there are a lot of people that go to work for social reasons. Like I know people that they're friends or people that they've met at work. If that's what you want to do, or if that's important to you, remote work is not going to be your thing. Like, that's not going to work because you're not going to make friends with, Olga that lives in Ukraine. It's just not going to happen. It'll be interesting to be working with someone like that. But really what you're getting is you get this expansive pool of talent. Like when I go recruit people, we'll post jobs on LinkedIn in 15 different countries over a week-long period. And we only talk to the people that are the top people that come in from all 15 of those countries. And what you find is that if I was just in Denver, and I was looking for the top guy in Denver, the pool is so much smaller, and that guy's getting picked off from all sorts of companies just in Denver that want that. Where for me, we might be competitive because people see like, oh, an American company, I'm based in India, I get a better salary, I get to work with, sort of people that are a little bit more motivated, a little bit higher, further along than where I am, because maybe locally I couldn't find this type of company. And it gives people this interesting sort of incentive that you wouldn't get if you were just hiring people in that local market. Like for me, it would be hard to imagine being forced to put a job post for one city and say, well, that's it. We can't find them. We can't find them.